It's been 5 years since they told me I only had a few months to live. Welcome to a very different Ovary Jones show. Today, I'm celebrating my bonus life and sharing some insight into how to live in a world of uncertainty. A cancer diagnosis is followed by all kinds of emotions. And even when a doctor tells you this is it, well, that doesn't always make it so. Let me roll the intro and let's talk about that on the other side. If you heard the words, "you've got cancer," you understand the overwhelming flood of fear and uncertainty that follows that sentence. I get it. I was there too, diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer with an 11% shot of survival. But 11 isn't zero, and here I am living my best encore. My name is Melanie Holscher, author of Becoming Ovary Jones, How to Fight Cancer Without Losing Your Mind, and the host of the Ovary Jones Show, where we talk about hope, lessons learned, and the blessings hidden in the storms of life. Tune in and share with a friend, because nobody should fight cancer alone. So I'm not in the US where I usually record these episodes. I've slipped away to celebrate my 5-year cancerversary. What a ride these last 5 years have been. I started this platform so that other survivors and people with insight could share their stories, because so many people have reached out to me requesting more stories, more hope, more inspiration. Messages like this one from a woman named Bay. She writes, "Dear Ovary Jones, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer stage 4B a month ago, and I'm heading in for my second chemo treatment. After an emotional roller coaster, I was desperately searching for something positive to read about the disease and also how best to fight it. But Googling just made you feel like preparing your coffin straight away. I was looking for a book, and then I found it, Becoming Ovary Jones. And yes, this is the spirit I was looking for. I was already aware of the statistics and the poor outlook. Now I want to do something about it. I would love to become part of Ovary Jones. With love, Bay." So this one's for you, Bay, and everyone out there who can relate. Today, since I'm away from my studio reflecting on all of the blessings another bonus year has ushered in, I thought I'd share some updates and also talk about something I hadn't even thought about when I was going through my lifequake season of chemo and radiation and the tachycardia and the enlarged kidney and the tumor in the hip and the trips to the bone specialist and all of the other specialists. My goal was just to survive, but I never realized what all that would entail. So let me start with one question that I get asked all the time, which is, why did you write Becoming Ovary Jones? I've always said that my career helped me tremendously. I'm a business coach with a firm called Southwestern Consulting, a large coaching, training, and speaking firm in Nashville, Tennessee. And we coach people on how to strengthen their mindset and sharpen their skills so that they could scale their businesses and achieve their goals. So my colleagues rallied around me when I was coming to terms with a very grim diagnosis and helped me apply the coaching that we use for business success to my cancer journey. And thankfully, the principles and the techniques weren't new to me because I had been coaching them for years leading up to my diagnosis. So a few hours after my last treatment, I went to a banquet to celebrate my son's graduation, and we were seated randomly at a table with some other families. And I struck up a conversation with the man across from me by asking, so what do you do for a living? He said, "I'm a gynecological oncologist," and I rolled my eyes. "Of course you are. I can't get away from you people." I told him about ringing the bell that day, and we got to talking, and after a bit, he complimented me on my attitude. I, of course, talked about my fellow coaches, to which the doctor replied, and I'll never forget this, "Well, mindset impacts outcomes." I had never heard it stated so boldly, so I challenged him on that, and he doubled down. And I thought, why am I hearing about this now? surely more people need to talk about this and need to hear about this. So that was the genesis of becoming Ovary Jones, and I've been banging that drum ever since. So, rolling the clock forward, I have very different conversations with my chemo doctor now. We talk about the struggle a lot of people face adjusting to survivorhood because they have so much support going through the process, they feel a little lost on the other side. And it makes sense because there's a lot to adjust to physically and emotionally. I was blessed because I worked virtually even before COVID. So I was able to maintain my business, and I had a health coach to help me get my nutrition figured out, and I built up my exercise tolerance back up so that I could do more. But it's been a big process. A few months ago, my friend Angie Moss, who lives in the Keys, said she heard a report on the Florida news talking about the impressive outcomes now reflected in the research showing the impact of coaching mindfulness techniques and integrating that with mind body care. So I looked it up and I'll link it below, but it said one study involving breast cancer patients showed participants in mind body programs had a 45% lower risk of their cancer coming back and a 56% lower risk of dying from breast cancer. So, to all of you who have reached out sharing your stories and the role mindset has played, research is catching up with us. Something I'm very interested in these days is the psychological recovery from cancer. Survivorhood is a new chapter. When we're going through the thick of it, we long to get on the other side of those treatments and the drugs. Going through the radiation and the chemo, our stress hormones shift into overdrive and we're muddling through, but we have a full team of medical professionals. We have family and friends all rallying around us. Everybody is watching. But once we're cut loose and we're on our own, we're faced with new emotions. Scanxiety every time we have to go in for a test. Sometimes survivor guilt, worrying that the cancer is going to come back. Mourning some of the physical changes or adjustments that we might have to accept. When our emotions don't align with our reality, disappointment and sadness and a host of other emotions and potentially depression can settle in. I certainly never aspired to be a cancer patient, and neither did you. So that wasn't my expectation, and I'm sure it wasn't yours either. However, here we are, dealing with the delta between our expectations and our reality. I remember when I was packing to go to the hospital to deliver my first child, I was naively expecting that I would be able to go back to wearing my pre pregnancy jeans right away. My head was so far in the clouds that my feet weren't quite touching the ground. And I similarly expected that I'd be doing everything that I was doing BC, before cancer, straight away. But there's a whole ball of intertwining emotions to sort out in the new land of Ned. What I find helpful is limiting my circle of influence, the people I talk to about these things, to people that have the emotional intelligence to challenge me or to counsel me in a supportive way. Social influences can be frustrating. We're told we're lucky and we should feel happy we escaped the jaws of death. In reality, there's still a lot of adjustments to be made to a completely foreign reality. It's not just a chapter that's closed, but it's a serious plot shift that changes your perspective forever. That's why I'm here in paradise. I'm very blessed and lucky to have reclaimed my life, and I've worked hard to grow into this new phase, but I will forever be different. I'm sure some people think, okay, she had cancer, get over it. Even I think that sometimes. I talk about it so that others will talk about their experiences too. I have a friend whose wife had stage 4 ovarian cancer 22 years ago. And she slips away once a year, much like what I'm doing, to a little getaway someplace on the globe, and she reflects. There's something life changing about facing grave danger. And I will add, I don't know that it matters what stage of cancer you have or what type it was or is. Just the word itself, cancer, packs a punch. I believe my career helped me tremendously when I was coping with accepting the diagnosis and when I was going through all of the treatments. And it continues to help me as I discover resiliency and the art of bouncing back. I recommend talking to your doctor if you're struggling to cope with it all because it really is a lot. For insurance purposes, the emotional mess is caused by cancer, so often they'll pay for you to see a psychologist. Let's continue to talk about mindset and how it extends into survivorhood. Comment below if you found ways to adapt your expectations to match your reality and how fostering your mindset has helped you in your journey. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found it thought provoking. And again, thank you for all of the messages, all of the support throughout these last 5 years. It's been truly amazing. One simple request, please do the things, share, like, subscribe. It really does help us reach more people fumbling around the uncertainty of living beyond cancer. See you in the next episode.